All right, welcome back to another episode of Real Talk. Jeff here. Brad, what's going on, man?
Nothing much, man. Feels good to get a win. Not many of those have been coming around in the season. With the fall to the Eagles, the undefeated paths is just Jeff Saturday, Bailey Zappi, and T.J. Watt. So that's pretty cool.
That's hilarious.
Those are the only three undefeateds left.
Wait a minute. What about Taylor Heineke?
Oh, he has a loss.
Oh, okay.
He's 3-1,
Okay.
lost to the Vikings.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, Bailey Zappi, baby.
2-0. T.J.
champion.
Watt's 2-0, and Jeff Saturday's 1-0.
That's hilarious. I would assume Jeff Saturdays would eventually come to an end. I would assume TJ Watts, but I don't know about Bailey Zappies. I don't know if he's going to play another down.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what it comes down to there.
That's funny. So got another pod today. NFL obviously back on tap today. We're going to do some power rankings. We're going to answer your mailbag questions. Then we're going to get out of here. So we're going to start with power rankings. We almost never do that, but we'll start. Do you want me to start? Or you want to start?
I mean, I can go real quick, and then you can bounce off. Like always, it's tough to find that the teams to fit the top 10. There's usually 3 or 4 on the way out. I skipped a lot of statistics today, just kind of like looking with my eyes. I have 4 teams that are all at 10. All could move up. All could stay there. But I like the Buccaneers, Titans, Bengals, and Giants, and the Jets, actually. So 5 of them. I have them all at 10. Again, these teams from 14 to 6, I think, are all really, really good games.
So basically, you could be okay with anybody putting those 5 teams at 10.
Yeah, and honestly, I think all of them even have a case to where if you said they were 8, I would be like, okay. At the 9th spot, I have the 6-4 Seahawks. They did just fall to the Buccaneers, but man, what a extraordinary time lapse in flight to go from Seattle to Germany. That's it's like halfway around the earth. That's kind of crazy. I'll let that one slide. Tom Brady's undefeated in international games. The Bucs are going to find a way to get it together, I think, but they still deserve a spot in the top 10 at 9. And it's not number 8. It's not the fault of theirs that they're all the way down to 8, but I have the Cowboys there. Blowing a 14-point lead to the Packers, who haven't even made my list. I guess I just kind of forgot about them too because they've just been so bad the last month and a half. But Cowboys giving up that lead, uncharacteristic turnovers. We talked in the podcast, our live podcast, the Cowboys and Eagles, was there a chance for either of them to lose? And we said, well, if everything that could go wrong that they haven't normally done happens, and for both teams, that's exactly what happened. Uncharacteristic turnovers, time management, penalties, everything kind of killed them. Cowboys at 8. Number 7 and 6, I have these 2 teams together. The Ravens and 49ers. I think they're similar to each other, I think. Different play styles, but the 49ers have shut out their last 2 teams in the second half. I think that's worth noting. I mean, this team offensively, we talk about them for days, but the defense is number 1 in the league. And the Ravens up by 10-plus points every single game that they've played in this year. I think they get right. And if you stay with me, I don't have it in front of me, which I probably should. But the Ravens, here we go. I just pulled it up. The Ravens schedule: Panthers, Jaguars, Broncos, Steelers, Browns, Falcons, Steelers, Bengals. A lot of very winnable games for the Ravens to finish out their season. This is a team that could climb higher. And who knows, with the way the AFC looks, throw their hat in the ring for a potential 1 seed. Number 5 is the Bills. I almost wanted to drop them below the Ravens and 49ers, but I didn't. It's just weird watching the Bills. Like they struggle in these 1-possession games. Josh Allen's leading the league in picks. Both of their Pro Bowl safeties, which kind of command their secondary, have both been out for a long period of time. And now they got to play the Browns with up to 6 feet of snow coming in Buffalo this weekend. 6 feet? Are you kidding? That doesn't even make sense. That's wild. So I worry about the Bills, but because of Josh Allen, I'm going to keep them at 5 for now. But I don't know what to do with the Bills. I think I'm rating them off of what they can be at their best, not what they have been the last few weeks, but it's the Bills. Number 4, I flipped and flopped 3 and 4, but 4 I landed on the Dolphins. I still think there's just something to be said about how they're 7-0 with Tua. All 3 losses came with backup quarterbacks, Skylar Thompson, Teddy Bridgewater. Defense plays well. This offense is explosive. Miami's a tough place to play. We'll see what they can do in the winter if they have to travel up north. You start to slow down that throwing game, but the addition of Jeff Wilson, at least in one game, looked really, really good. Him coming over. Number 3, again, could be higher. I like the Vikings at 3, and it's a really, really, really good 3. It's a shame that this team has to be 3 with the season that they're having. We could talk Justin Jefferson. Dalvin Cook hasn't had a great season, but he's solid. He's on the field. He's staying healthy. Kirk Cousins. This defense has been opportunistic. Patrick Peterson, Harrison Smith, the pass rush, everything. Number 2, I think these are the top 2 teams, but I am not willing to move off my Eagles just yet here this season. I have the Chiefs at 2. We've just become numb to how good the Chiefs are. There's just never a time that the Chiefs just win. You just look at the scoreboard after it's just by how many. Like their losses are, I don't remember one of their losses, but I know they had the weird special teams game against the Colts, which was really, really weird. But you still trust Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes in these games. And number 1 are the Eagles. They didn't look great against the Texans. They were getting sloppy. You did allude to it that teams do need a loss. They do need a reality check sometimes. A.J. Brown mentioned it in the locker room. He's like, nobody likes losing. We want to win, but man, the 17-0 stuff's over. We can refocus and regroup. And I think it was a good loss for him. I do think teams need a loss. I agree with you. I know we had a little spat on Facebook about the quality of the loss, but they did lose, but they're still number 1. I still think they're a great team. It's tough losing Dallas Goedert, but anybody who watched the game, that fourth quarter was drunk, and they had some uncharacteristic fumbles. It's going to be tough losing Dallas Goedert for a month, but especially with how good their division's been. But we could see a 12-5, 13-4 Eagles at the 5 seed. That's how good this division's been, but I'm going to keep them at number 1.
Traditionally, we work 10 from 1, but it is crazy how staggeringly similar we are at the top. We did flop Kansas City and the Eagles. I have Kansas City 1. Right now, if those 2 teams were to play, I would take Kansas City straight up. So
if we tiered them off,
feel
that
really
would be
good about
tier
it.
1. If we tiered our brackets instead of hitting a number, that would be.
And the only reason the Vikings are at 3 is because the Eagles beat them head to head, and I feel really good about where the Vikings are at 3. But they're a top tier 3. I feel great. I have them at 3. I had Miami at 4. And it's kind of funny because you have AFC and then I have NFC, and then I have AFC. And I clearly think Miami right now is the second best AFC and feel really good about them at 4. I have the Bills at 5, just like you do, just because, like you said, at their absolute best, they're a number 1 in this league. But right now they're not playing like that. But they're still not. I can't put them at 10. 5 feels.
If I said
right.
Bills at 8, it would just feel ugly.
No, yeah. But. And maybe I'm letting them off the hook. I still have the Cowboys at 6. Maybe that's a little high.
I think Ravens, 49ers, Cowboys are a nice trio there that are all good defenses, different things, but
I would have liked the Cowboys to win that game. I thought that was, and I said this on the live show, I thought it was a perfect setup for them. Cold weather game where they can run the ball and get after the passer, and Aaron Rodgers looked MVP form. So it's like, I'm not going to kill him for Aaron Rodgers having a throwback game. You know what I mean? 7, and we were identical here. The Ravens. I love the Ravens. Probably have a case to be higher. They're been as good as anybody really. Dominated at points, fell behind in points, had some weird coaching decisions. You'd hope that those things got to get cleaned up, but this team's super dangerous, and you said light schedule. So, I'm a little upset that you refuse to buy into this team, and I get it because there's not a lot. I got the Titans at 8. There's not a lot to love, but there's a lot to like. And I'm very confident in saying this. They have a top 4 coach in this league. And if you have a top 5 coach in this league, you can do a lot of things. This Titan team, went up against the top defense in the entire game right now in the Denver Broncos last week. Their offense can't do dog shit, but their defense can stop everybody. And they scored on them. They scored, I think it was 17 or whatever. They got the W. Titans at 8. I feel good about it too. Bengals at 9. I think this one's strictly for potential because, to be honest, I think that's the argument for the next team too. Niners at 10. You could almost swap these two teams, and I wouldn't really argue too much with you. Neither of them has performed great. Both of them have average. They're both 5-4, literally. Niners obviously are peaking where the Bengals have kind of been like off and on again. They're on a bye this week, but it's like I still like the Bengals there. And then right outside, you could put them at a dead nut tie. I have Tampa and the Seahawks kind of tied at 11. Tampa just beat the Seahawks, but at the same time, I think Tampa's ceiling is extremely high still. It seems like they're maybe turning a leaf. Seattle, I haven't quite bought into their long-term potential. They seem like a great regular season team right now, but I wouldn't pick them to win a single playoff game. That's just kind of where I'm at with them. I have somehow over the time dropped out the the Giants and the Jets. Right now, today, I would bet everything I got that the Giants would beat the Jets. I'm not confident in the Jets. I think the Patriots are better than the Jets. I think they'll prove that again on Sunday when they sweep them on the year. But yeah, I feel really good about the top 10. Seahawks, I think they were at 6. I did drop them kind of far, maybe a little unjustified. But I love the Titans. I love the Bengals. I love the Niners over the Seahawks right now.
So I guess I just want to, I didn't think I was going to do this, but it just came up to me.
Hit me.
I'm going to say some teams, and I want you to tell me if you think they're a bottom 10 team in the league. So bottom third.
There's 32. Bottom
they
10.
Could be let's go 20 to 32. If you think they're from 20 to 32. So drafting in the top 12 to 4. Okay. Top 12. That makes sense.
Would it be easier to say top tier or bottom tier? Like 15 or
no, I don't want to go so far as to say half. Let's do 12.
Okay.
If from 20 to 32. So drafting the first 12. The New York Giants.
No.
Okay. They beat the Titans. The Buffalo Bills.
No.
They beat the Titans. The Raiders.
Yes.
Titans win. Colts.
Yes.
Titans win. Washington.
We argued about this. They're peaking. They're peaking. So I'm going to say no.
Okay. Titans win, though. Colts. Titans win. Texans.
Yes.
Titans win. Chiefs.
No.
Chiefs win. Broncos.
Yes.
Titans win.
So they've only beaten bad teams.
I think all their wins, you could argue, there's a case to be made if you broke the league up into quarters and did bottom 8.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of Washington, all their wins have come against bottom 8. And it's not their fault. It's their schedule and they're winning games.
And if you told me Washington was bottom 12, I wouldn't argue with you.
Okay. But the other thing, too, is about their defense. They've held so many teams. Colts 17, Commanders 17, Colts 10, Texans 10, Chiefs 20, Broncos 10, Raiders 22, Giants 21 on a 2-point conversion at the end. So their defense is holding teams under 24, but like we thought, they're having trouble scoring. But because of coaching and Mike Vrabel, they're winning these close, ugly games. They're not penalized. But I think they've played like a drastically weird schedule where they're playing a lot of teams on the bottom, but they are taking care of business. But I think this is a team that, if they continue to do that, I mean, you look at their schedule coming up. They play Packers, Bengals, Eagles are their next 3. We're going to learn a lot about the Tennessee Titans.
Can I? Okay, and I'm gonna flip this on you. You ready?
Yeah.
Playoffs start today. Tennessee is the 3 seed as of today. They could potentially be the 4, but regardless, they're hosting a playoff game. They're hosting a playoff game. I'm going to read you some potential suitors, and I just want you to tell me if you would at least.
Yeah, give them a chance.
I'm not saying like I want you to predict the game, but I want you to tell me if you think they'd be favored. You ready?
Yeah.
Jets.
I think they would favor the Jets. I think both teams have bad quarterbacks. I think they like the Jets defense more, but the Titans are at home. It's a small spread. It's like 2. I think it's a pick 'em. That's a good game. I don't know who they'd favor. I'm not good at guessing those lines.
I massively disagree.
Well, and I think those are close teams.
One of these teams has playoff literally like experience. It's weird to say that, but the Titans are actually a playoff tested team. They've been in the playoffs several years. They've made runs.
I get that too, but the Jets have some really good wins on the season. It's like the Bills. I mean, they've beaten the Bill. I don't know. Next.
Okay. Next, the Bills.
Bills would be favored.
No. Yeah. New England.
I think New England, like Bill Belichick. I know they have questions at quarterback, but that'd be a good game though.
So you basically have taken the 3 wild card teams over Tennessee. That's interesting. Let me keep going though.
Yeah.
I think I know where you're going to go. I'm not going to go super deep, but Chargers. Well, Bengals. Okay, I get it. And I'm not going to say the next one because they're not going to make the playoffs. But believe it or not, the 10 seed is the Colts, which is wild.
Yeah, but the thing is the Titans, they have this monster at running back, and they play good defense, and they're well coached, so they have a chance to win games. I'm just saying, like, the Titans played bad teams, but they beat them. I just want to see them beat one good team before they make it to the playoffs, or 1 or 2 good teams. It's not their fault. I don't
want to get into like a grenade conversation or a horseshoe conversation, but they almost beat the Chiefs. Does that not mean anything?
No, they did, and it took the Giants a 2-point conversion at the end of the game to it. They're in those games. They don't have wide receivers, and their quarterbacks are severely limited. I love their defense, love their coach, love their running back, but they are so one-dimensional on offense that it's just like.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, their biggest win on the season, I guess. Okay, they beat the Colts by 9, but they're basically in all one-possession games, if not less than a field goal. Like they're winning these close ones, but yeah, that was a lot of time on the Titans. But I could see why you have them where you're at. But
yeah. It's been one of those teams where I can't seem to get away from them, and I can't seem to get you to buy into them.
Yeah,
it's been fun. We always talk about the Titans. It's fine.
Yeah, the AFC South is tricky.
We got some good mailbag questions.
Okay.
You ready?
Yep.
This one comes in from Matt Cole. Shout out Matt Cole, by the way, who I kind of posted this on the Facebook page the other day. Continues to call elite level upsets.
It's bullshit.
It is bullshit, honestly.
Next year, I'm taking $50 a week and putting it on Matt's upset pick of the week. $50.
You're gonna win more. You're gonna win more money than lose money.
Don't care who he says. 50.
Yep. Who is it? Got it. That's money on him.
Easy. Matt, text me. Yeah.
Matt Cole writes in, which 2 teams from each conference that have a 500 record or worse can make a second half surge and make the playoffs? I'm gonna do you one better, Matt. I'm gonna go through. And me and Brad are going to go with the 500 or worse, and we're just going to tell you if they're dead in the water. So, funny enough, the AFC is so top-heavy. The first team that falls in this category, you ready? You tell me if they're dead in the water, if they can make a push. The Colts.
I think they can, simply because they could win their division still. It's close enough. But I don't think it's likely. None of these teams you're going to list, am I going to say it's likely? But
we just talked about the Titans for a few minutes. I know you're not going to buy in, but please don't tell me the Colts are going to win more than the Titans this year. They swept the Colts. They'd have to get a whole game ahead of them.
They're undefeated with their new coach. I don't know. I know. I know that's funny, but the Colts have been underwhelming. But the Colts have if they get good O-line play, they have a good running back, and they have a great defense.
Okay. Massively disagree. We're moving on.
No,
The,
I'm
the,
not going to the thing. Actually,
they're dead in the
gonna
water, in my opinion.
no. I am gonna switch to no. I'm gonna switch to no because I'm
Okay.
just gonna say this real quick. Eagles, Steelers, Cowboys, Vikings, Chargers, Giants, Texans. That's their
No
final.
way in hell. That won 2 games, maybe.
They're done. Poor
Toast.
Jeff Saturday. After looking at their schedule, no shot.
Dead in the water. Okay. Browns.
Browns and Steelers both in the North have a chance. Browns get Deshaun Watson back. The division is only 3 games out. And in division, at least I know the Steelers are 1-1 in their division. They still have 2 Ravens games and a Bengals game left. So could they? Yes. And if the Browns can win 1 or 2, especially a blizzard game in Buffalo, Deshaun Watson comes back. We don't know what that is. So, and they all kind of have weak schedules going forward.
Broncos.
No. Division's too good up top.
Jaguars.
No.
Okay. Raiders are dead.
Yeah,
Texans are dead.
the last one.
Texans are dead. Yeah. All right, you ready for the next one?
So we have Steelers and Browns because it's the AFC North, I guess. But Steelers and Browns.
And it's not just because it's the AFC North. The Steelers and the Browns still have a pulse. They're 3-6. The Patriots hold the 7 seed at 5-4. They're 2 games out of that.
Yeah.
Now the Patriots do hold tiebreakers over both of those teams, but still, I mean that's there. You ready for this one? Because the NFC is actually fun.
But just to point it out, there's 7 spots in the playoffs of the AFC. We have officially narrowed it down to 12 teams, 4 out.
Yeah. Yep. This is fun because it starts at number 8. Actually, no, it doesn't. It starts with a playoff team. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
The Bucks.
Well, so it's 500 or worse.
That's what he said, 500 or worse.
I'm going to cut to the chase just real quick. I haven't looked at schedules. All 4 teams in the South have a chance. If any of them get hot, I think they all still play each other enough, and they're within 2 games of each other. I would favor the Bucks, but you'd have to say they all have at least a fighter's chance. You're saying if they get hot, that means they lose 2 more games the rest of the way. That's still an 8-9 team. What if that's the Saints or Panthers? 8-9 could win this division. We don't know. I would expect the Bucks to take it home, and none of these teams, the other ones, do. But all 4 in the South, without looking at schedules, I would say at least have a shot.
That's fine. Yeah, I agree. Kind of. I think the Saints are done, but which is crazy because we were both pretty high on the Saints coming in.
Yeah, Michael Thomas a bum.
Absolute bum. Number 8, first team out of the playoffs right now. Commanders. You just we haven't talked about them. Sorry, Commanders.
I think they have a shot, but I don't know if we're going to see 4 teams from one division make the playoffs. And they all got to still beat the crap out of each other. They've got so many divisional games coming. But yes,
that was a massive win against the Eagles.
Yeah, so yes, they absolutely have a shot.
Yeah, I think they do too, which is crazy because, I mean, this is part of our discussion on Facebook when we were talking about this game is like, this team's not bad.
Yeah. And for those of you, we've kind of beat around the bush. Basically, Jeff posted that every team needs to lose to he said dog shit team. So that's where like the discrepancy was, because he bumped it after they lost to Washington. And, I came back with, I don't think this is true. And he said, are you telling me Washington's bad? You just told me the Eagles are better than everyone or at every position for Washington. And I still think that's true. They did lose to an inferior team, but this team is 5-5. They're 1-4 with Carson Wentz, 4-1 with Taylor Heineke. And with 2-4 with Wentz, 3-1 with Heineke. And their only loss with Heineke is a 3-point loss to the Minnesota Vikings. Say what you want, Ron Rivera coaches this team hard. Their D-line gets healthier with Chase Young coming back. And although Taylor Heineke isn't beating guys up with his arm, He's a fiery guy who doesn't seem to make dumb decisions, doesn't really turn the ball over. And now with Brian Robinson and Gibson, they really have a backfield. And Taylor Heinicke is doing something that Carson Wentz wouldn't do. If Taylor
Throw the
Heinicke,
fucking ball to Terry McLaurin.
exactly. If he feels pressured or if it's doubled, don't matter. That's my guy. And Terry McLaurin, his emotions on the field, you can tell they have a real connection. And this team is rallying right now.
My fantasy numbers have been going up with him the last several weeks with Taylor
Yeah,
Heinicke.
so I'm not saying that Washington is the same level as the Eagles, which they may be. The point is, we may have been wrong on Washington because quarterback play was so inept with Carson Wentz.
Packers.
No. Somebody's got to win the NFC South. So, excluding them, there's 12 teams fighting for 6 spots. Seahawks, 49ers, the entire NFC East, and we haven't got to them yet, but I believe in the Cardinals more than the Packers. No, that's crazy.
I'm going to disagree. And I'm not sure why, but I'm seeing here right now the Cowboys at 4-6 are 2 games behind the Cowboys. If they can tie the Cowboys, they would own the tiebreaker in a head-to-head. They're not going to win the division because the Eagles are probably going to lock that puppy up, I would assume.
Vikings.
Their schedule. The Packers aren't going to get to the Vikings either, though. So they're going to be battling over wild card spots. They're really 1 game out of it right now. They're not dead in the water. Let's just say that. I'm not saying I'm picking them.
No, they have a chance. You're right.
They do. They have a chance.
They have a chance.
It's there. They have to play like they just played, though. They can't play like they were playing the last 4 or 5 games, whatever it was. Falcons, you already said yes.
Cardinals, you know what's crazy?
Go ahead.
If the Packers do really get on a little bit of a heater, though,
yeah,
the Vikings host the Cowboys this weekend. It's a losable game. Then they host the Patriots.
The boys, baby. On prime time. On prime time.
Yeah. Then, 3 home games in a row. Then they host the Jets. Sauce Gardner on Justin Jefferson. That's a losable game.
Yeah.
They're at the Lions. Okay. Colts, Giants.
Lions almost beat them.
Yeah. But then it's Colts and Giants, some tough games. And then January 1st, they go to Lambeau. If the Packers in this Christian Watson thing heats up and they start to rally off a few wins, could this be a colossal debacle and the Vikings are 12-5? Or no, not 12-5. Let's say they drop to 10-7 and the Packers go on a magical run. And I don't know.
It's a lot of losses there, but
I think the Vikings have the division. Are getting too caught up in conspiracies. They're not dead in the water, though. You're absolutely right. They're not dead in the water.
Cardinals, though. You're looking to defend the Cardinals?
I'm not looking to just defend them outright because this team is in the bottom 3 in points allowed, and there's nothing that's going to help that. They just suck defensively.
Yeah.
But as soon as Monday night, Hollywood Brown's back. Like, they can clear him. If they keep him out this week, he's back next week. And you talk about the way James Conner looked. I know it was Colt McCoy, but the way James Conner looked, and you get Hollywood Brown and DeAndre Hopkins, AJ Green caught a touchdown.
Was Hollywood suspended?
No, he got hurt.
He
got hurt a week before D-Hop came back.
Okay.
Yep. I don't know if he had surgery or not, but he was put on IR for 4 weeks. So D-Hop's come back and taken all the targets. Because remember, it was like Hollywood's getting all the targets now. So yep. AJ Green just caught another touchdown. I think he's kind of taken the Zach Ertz role. After Zach Ertz got hurt, AJ Brown is kind of that possession
and
guy.
They have Robbie Anderson. They got
Rondale Moore.
Yeah, Rondale Moore, yeah.
They have a ton of pieces on this offense, and with Hollywood Brown and D-Hop and their connection with Kyler Murray, I just look for this to be a team that we could potentially say, yeah, their defense sucks. You better put up 34. Like this, you know what I mean? So I think that could help the Cardinals. And 1, 2, 3, 4 of their final games are at home. 4 of their 7. The ones on the road, Broncos, Falcons, those are both really winnable. So I just think the Cardinals have a shot here, and no one in that division, even though we think the 49ers, no one in that division has like blown me away yet. 49ers are on their way. Seahawks have had a good season. They just dropped one. They're on bye this week. But if the Cardinals win this week, and even if the 49ers do, they're only one game behind first place to win the division with some divisional games left. So I think the Rams are dead in the water. So we're kind of just, I don't know. Rams look so awful. And now Cooper Kupp's gone. I don't know how many teams we have. What, Lions and Bears left?
So Lions, I think they're out.
Lions, Bears, Rams, I don't know.
The Bears are the one. They're 2 games out right now. They actually hold the tiebreaker over the Niners. The Bears have to play to their absolute potential every single week with no more let-ups, and potentially a 9-8 Bears team could squeak in at the 7th seed.
There's only 2 teams that have scored less than the Rams this year. Isn't that insane?
That's bonkers, dude.
They've scored 1 less point than the Houston Texans.
The Texans have scored more than them.
149 to 148.
All right, well, they're dead in the water.
Only the Broncos and Steelers have scored less than the Rams.
Let's see here. Next question. Chuck Kinnebrew writes in, do you think the Dolphins are going to win their division?
Yes.
I agree. I will say this. I'd love to see how this team looks in a 40, 30 degree, 20 degree weather game. That'll be interesting. But I think they can run the ball.
But just so people do know, so the Dolphins are fantastic, 7-0 with Tua, and they're going to host the Texans this week. And we're going to be looking at an 8-3 Dolphins team. Tua's 8-0. Their final 6 games, 4 of them are on the road. I just want to list their opponents. This is what they end with. At the 49ers.
Tough.
At the Chargers.
Tough.
At the Bills.
Tough.
They host the Packers on Christmas.
No slouch.
At the Patriots.
No slouch.
Home against the Jets.
No slouch. So they got 3 toughs and 3 no slouches.
They've got 5 playoff teams as of right now, and the 6th one is the Packers.
Damn.
So I do believe they will, but woo!
Love me some football. Holy shit. That's tough.
Yeah.
Jamie writes in, how would you save Denver's season? So far, bad hire at the head coach, subpar quarterback play, and top 5 in most injuries.
Just quickly, Jamie, we've spent a lot of time on the other questions. We've kind of alluded to already, there is no saving this season.
No.
But you have to play the whole thing out to be certain that you have the wrong coach. I know it's looked bad, but what if they win their final 4 games and they start scoring more and it's like, hey, it took a long time, but we figured out what we need to do to win. But if it's a disaster all year and they finish at 5-12, you know you've made the wrong decision. And then in the offseason, we'll probably talk more about the Broncos because they were a huge disappointment, at least so far. But I think we both put them dead in the water. They could win this week, but they're playing the Raiders, who are, I don't think there is any saving this season. They have been injured. Their coach hasn't looked good.
Yeah.
Russell's underperformed. But what you do know is you've got a defense.
Yeah, and you can't tank because those picks are gone. So give it everything you got. Coach like your hair's on fire. And Nathaniel Hackett already says coaching for his job. He already knows it. So play like it too. That's all I can say. I mean, honestly, like you've already traded away, Bradley Chubb, and you've had some injuries. Melvin Gordon hasn't been great this year. Russ hasn't been great. Beat up at the wide receiver position. Jerry Judy's kind of a disappointment. So at this point, know what you got going into the offseason. Know what you need to get rid of. So Kyle Miller writes in, Seattle is 6-4 on a bye this week. What is their regular season win total? Since they've tripled Brad's prediction. He loves it though.
My prediction was 1-15. They've multiplied it by 6.
You had them at 1-15?
Listen, I thought they were so awful.
Yeah.
Listen, now again, I've also said that my predictions is just like a more amplified example of what I think of those teams going in. Nope.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to predict any team under 3 wins.
You've made it very clear that if you think, for instance, there's no way a team's going 0-16, but at the same time, you don't know where they would win. You're not going to pick them to win just to win. You've said that.
Correct.
And you're not going to pick teams to lose just to lose because you know they're not going to go undefeated. Like, if they have a legitimate chance to lose, you'll pick it. Otherwise, you're not going to cut them slack. You've said that. Yeah. You've preached that.
So with that being said, I'm actually going to pull it up real quick, the questions, because
he has the team. Yep. So you ready?
I got it.
Okay.
Vegas, Rams.
So home against the Raiders. That's a win.
Win.
Road game against the Rams.
Win.
Love them in that game. Home game against Carolina.
Win.
And now things get real. You ready?
You can say them. Go ahead. Go ahead and say them.
Home game against San Fran. I actually got them winning that game.
Say the next 3.
Okay. Home game against San Fran. At Kansas City. Home against the Jets. So tons of home games in here.
Personally, and the last game I see is home against the Rams.
Yes, that's it.
They have 7 games. I think they win 5 of them.
They're favored. They're favored in at least 5 of them.
Yeah, I want to give them a loss where they maybe shouldn't have one and a win maybe where they should not. The 49ers, Kansas City Jets, the 49ers and Kansas City's tough back-to-back, and then you're playing that really good Jets defense. Geno Smith revenge spot there, though. Just a lot of emotional. They've had a big emotional season. Maybe they drop one to one of those Rams games. I know they're the better team, but in division, you don't know. Let's say they win 5 games, so they're 6-4. Let's put them at 11-6.
That's nuts.
Maybe, 11-6 or 10-7. I think that's way better than I could. If they went 11-6, you could have flipped their record, and I still said it would have been worse than that. So it's crazy. They've been a great story. I've loved watching it, even though I'm wrong with every beautiful pass and every nice run. I know I'm more and more wrong, but they're so fun to watch. Yeah,
they're a great team, and I will say this, and I said this earlier. I wouldn't really favor them in a playoff game. I know they have their strengths, they have their weaknesses. I don't love Geno Smith in a playoff game. I'll say it. It is what it is. If you lose to the Raiders this week, though, don't chirp at me the rest of the year, no matter what the record is. Like, if you're going to be a good team, beat these dog shit teams at home. You better not lose to the Raiders, because that's one of my locks. Don't even know what the spread is. It's one of my locks this week. Calling it now. Okay? Brad's pulling it up. I can already see it in his eyes. So
no, I'm pulling up something else.
Oh.
You're good, though. You're good.
It's definitely one of my locks already, so it is what it is. But anything else?
Yeah, 2 things. I want to find the schedule where it's Christmas, which is like
Christmas day schedule.
Is that week 17? Nope, it's going to be week 16. So, first of all, I just want to say, y'all can act like Chargers Chiefs is sweet, sure. But the fact that they flex the Steelers Bengals out of Sunday night makes me really upset.
I get it.
Steelers in their black color rush versus the all whited out Bengals with their white helmets. Divisional matchup on a Sunday night. Y'all can have it. But I do wonder, since I just wanted to give a little heads up, Christmas Eve. You guys know that there's 3 games on Christmas, and the rest are on Christmas Eve. Well, Monday and Thursday night aside. But the Christmas Eve night game at 8:15 is Raiders at Steelers. Do you know what game's on at 4:25 that day?
I don't. Oh, is it Patriots Bengals?
Eagles at Cowboys. So the Steelers are going to get flexed out twice.
They won't flex it for a 4:25. They will not flex it.
4:25 game won't get flexed?
It won't get flexed. Absolutely not. No, that's because that's Fox's main game of the week. They're not letting that get flexed. It has to get flexed out of a 1 p.m., I'm pretty sure.
Oh, well, Vikings Giants might get it. But I'm just saying,
Yeah,
like,
maybe.
There might be twice that the Steelers get flexed out because the rest of the games I don't think would go up there. But yeah, the 7-2 Giants versus 8-1 Vikings are there on 1:00 Fox. On
I can't. Maybe it can, but I cannot imagine that's a good phone call that Roger Goodell would have to make to Fox to say, "Hey, we're pulling the Cowboys Eagles game off your network." That would be
yeah, and
an ugly phone
the thing
call.
too is Fox has the 1:00 Giants Vikings. I don't know how much
They would
moving
give
they
that
would
up.
do.
They would give that up.
Well, I'm just saying, would they flex Eagles Cowboys to Saturday night and then move the Giants Vikings up into that 4:25 Fox window and move the Steelers Raiders to 1?
They probably could. There's a
I don't
lot
know
of
what they
flexing
do.
late in the year on Saturdays and Sundays.
But
Lots
seeing
of them.
Giants Vikings and Eagles Cowboys, I'd imagine Christmas Eve the Steelers are going to get flexed out of there.
I'm pretty sure the Patriots and Bengals are on that day too.
They
That
do. They're at
wouldn't be
1:00 CBS.
That would be a
Yeah,
fun flex game.
Yeah, that would be.
That would be a
I mean,
really
if they
fun flex
keep winning,
game.
if they keep winning, you got Washington versus the 49ers.
That'd be a fun flex game too. Yeah.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe it gets moved. I'm just looking. We're just having a little fun here on the podcast. 4:30 CBS on Christmas. Broncos at Rams.
That's supposed to compete with basketball.
It's all by itself at 4:30.
No.
Broncos Rams.
It'll draw
Get
a
it
massive
out.
rating.
Get
It'll
it out.
draw a rating.
But that's a CBS game. Maybe they swap it with Bengals Patriots and move them to Christmas Day.
Maybe.
I don't know if you can move a team to Christmas though. I feel like that's too big of a.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. That was just some fun. Steelers in their black and yellow color rush versus the Bengals in their whited out unis, and they're gonna kick it off for Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert. They suck, dude. I'd rather watch Kenny Pickett,
Josh Allen.
Pickett and Josh.
Oh goodness. Well, guys, thanks for listening. Hope you dug the power rankings. Pretty similar all around. Hope you guys are digging what we're doing. Keep writing in. We got some more news about live shows for Michigan, Ohio State next week. Make sure you're tuning in this Sunday for our live show.
Also, stay tuned for maybe potential World Cup episode in the next few days, boys. We're hyped.
Yes, that is something we're trying to get locked down. As long as schedules align, we will drop a World Cup preview pod. Here we go.
The first game kicks off the same time as our live show Sunday.
That's hype. That's hype. Yeah. Week 12 or week 11 in the books. Week 12 is our on horizons, correct? Or is it week 11? I believe so. I don't even know. I've lost count at this point.
Week 11.
This is week 11 coming up, right?
Yes.
Yes, this is week 11. All right, we're out. Real talk.